Orphatique by Anton Yu. Copyright 2023 Anton Yu. All rights reserved. Translation and notes copyright 2023. Anton Yu. Translated by Anton Yu. Cover design by Anton Yu. Photographs by Arthur Kravtsov, Irina Sidorenko, Anton Yu. Engaging sessions in the surgical theater. And I still can't believe that I managed to survive. Nights, initially spring and slightly cool, then summer, with suffocating heat and an absence of air, I wish to forget forever. To forget, to be free. Nights, my sleepless nights without you, as if a hammer striking an anvil, and I, between the hammer and anvil. Forget your taste and scent. Forget, to never return to them again. In the summer, when the sun is no longer visible, when darkness gradually descends upon the houses tired from the daytime heat, when there are millions of stars and no wind by default, when at 4:44 in the morning, my phone shows 59 calls to you, all unanswered, I wanted not to live. Believe me, I wouldn't have started this confession if it wasn't so painful. Can you recall all those nights when you, not coming home or trying to leave me, left me tied on stones heated by the summer sun and, turning on the video camera, recorded all this on a memory card, of my memory, to later masturbate with all your soul to how I writhed first from suffocation, then, from pain, then, from hallucinations and dreams and again hallucinations? Or was it all just dreams? You still came back after all this, claiming there's nowhere else to go, claiming it's still good. I forgave you all my burns, wounds, cuts, scars, and ulcers because I believed until the end, that everything would be all right. All the nights, when we, mixing with either scents or sweat, played with each other's palms, smelled each other's mouths, sleepy and mad. All my nights, all your nights, all our nights, your warmth inside, the shiver down the soles, when I touched you. All nights. All our nights. Do you remember how I, burying my face in your armpits, reveled in your scent? You similarly reveled in me when you inflicted pain. You also revealed when you allowed yourself to be saved as I held onto your hand and collar, preventing your leap from our kitchen window that night. You reveled too when you set yourself and your clothes on fire and watched as I rushed to save you during our nights, you, afflicted and suffering from the phases of the moon. I lived with you from moon to moon, from full moon to full moon, during our nights. Ah, the nights. Oh, they flowed through my veins, turning me inside out, so that later, after a few days, when you returned, you could savor my pains, washing them down with my own tears and reproaches towards you, which, by the way, were born in me instantaneously and evaporated just as quickly, flying out of my mouth. Oh, those lonely nights, soaked with the smell of vodka, your cruel words, my expectations, and again your cruel words. Tears. Chewing gum. The taste of darkness on the tongue. Rain again. The warmth of summer nights, the light of the emerald moon. Rain. Candles. Many candles, air, saturated with you and me. This city. A condom. A kiss. At night. Deep blowjobs. The taste of sperm on the tongue and under the tongue. Baked meat. The sky in the section of the uncurtained window. A black and white room. Windows. Rain in them. Outside the windows, we are senseless, mortally in love with you. A phone call. Music. Your scent. The sky. The sky again. You. 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 And me. Me. And you. We were together, and will be again. From the first day we started living together, you uplifted me. Then, you turned me into a corpse, fit for experimentation, you made me a hostage to the most brutal tortures, taking delight in my suffering. I was a corpse, a bag of skin for bones, tendons, and muscles. You would have been an incredibly skilled chef, world-renowned for your haute cuisine recipes. Do you know what I'm getting at? That foolish one, in your hands, I was the prey of a wolf or a hunter, make your choice, which you methodically butchered and cooked over a slow fire while your prey was still alive. I see myself here as a worm or a snake, which you slowly picked up with your, oh, gods, brilliantly tender hands and placed in a pot heated to 80 degrees, watching as your future dinner delicacy sizzled. Then, contrary to all the rules of culinary art, oh yes, you're pretty the innovator. You doused me with icy water, as if hinting that the victim is punished and now will be saved. But no, you didn't turn off the stove, the icy water gradually turned into boiling water. But even here, you excelled, I'm amazed, Lucky, damn it, your middle name, you took out the still undercooked food and put it on a plate. So I, your victim, could once again be mistaken that you're indeed allowing me to live. Having placed not the most visually appealing dish on the plate, you took a terribly dull dining knife and fork to begin consuming your proudly obtained trophy. Settling in comfortably, as if at a festive table and donning, excuse me, an inappropriate napkin for the situation, apparently, still afraid of getting dirty, you began to cut me and slowly chew. Sartre's existentialism would have choked on itself here. Yes, you were delivering to yourself an unrelenting luxurious pleasure. A gourmet, damn it. Yes, I could have anticipated some of your tricks aimed at not letting me die quickly. If you, while meticulously cutting me into pieces with a blunt dining knife and putting it in your mouth, had suddenly decided to vomit what you had just swallowed, would have appeared to you still somewhat alive. And I swear you would have started smearing vomit over your body. Dreams. Everything that happened during that period is unforgettable, in every sense of this blood-draining word. Everything that happened has passed, and I confess I still don't understand how I managed to survive. The gnawing wounds, the volleys of suicidal thoughts, and a pile of memories mixed with terabytes of texts blaming you prevent me from fully releasing everything inside me. The filth you submerged me in, the dirt in which you drowned and then saved me, the filth that can't be cleansed by simply calling a home cleaning service, all of it is gradually disappearing from me, fading from memory, and troubling my consciousness less and less, which I save with forbidden pills, alcohol, friends, revenge plans, and so on. Alas, the list is endless. But be assured, I will manage, I will survive, I will exist, I will succeed. But you without me? I doubt it, although I've never been able to predict your actions. Yes, I never could, although no one felt you as I did. And the funniest and, at the same time, the scariest thing is that it all continues, our events, in your life and my life, I'm shy, you see, to write ours, are very similar. Everything that happens to me happens to you, and vice versa. A closed circle from which you and I can't imagine an exit. And don't want to. A closed circle, and one day, traveling this circuit, we will meet and not part. I won't hide it, you taught me a lot and explained a lot, perhaps unknowingly and unwillingly. Apparently, that's why you were sent to me, otherwise, I don't understand the meaning of everything that happened between you and me and will have to reject the argument that fate indeed exists. So, kiddo, what you taught me has made me a completely different person. The fact that my friends no longer recognize me, that I've acquired a bunch of strange habits, and that I've changed everything, is just a tiny part of the upheaval and revolution in me since I realized what exactly happened. Only you could have masterfully taught me all this, as you were, perhaps, the chief preacher of this since the times of the Pied Piper of Hamelin, Marquis de Sade, and Dorian Gray. You killed in me any love for people, even in its atomically slightest manifestation. You made me believe that love as such, again, in any of its manifestations, does not exist and that it's impossible to love people. You made me lose faith even in myself, damn it, which was always in me no matter what. Now I feel empty. Now, I am that very bag of human skin filled with bones, tendons, and muscles. I sometimes think that you have castrated my feelings. Yes, now I no longer know how to love, understand, and sympathize. I don't know how. And for the better. Only sometimes do I dream of how we talk to each other. I say, I love you. You reply, is that some kind of defect in you? What? I ask again, either in frenzy or in astonishment. To love. Loving is a defect. Oh, now I definitely know who cured me of the defect. Moreover, you shattered me as an individual. Damn, I've only just realized that all of this resembles the complaints of a little girl to her inept mother. It's even somewhat comical. Yes. Indeed, you broke and nearly annihilated me. Nearly. I emphasize, nearly. You instilled a fear in me for everything, even my own shadow. I'm not joking. A few days ago, I noticed that when I walk alone on the street, I can see a shadow from the corner of my eye, and its dark silhouette seems to be following me. In those moments when I see this shadow, unease takes over. Panic first grips my chest, squeezing it with icy fingers, then it ascends to my neck, encircling my throat with its serpentine, scaly body, and infiltrates my head, hammering my temples and forehead with a silver mallet of spasm. Then, nothing provides solace. Another wave of stifling suffocation and unexpected sweatiness ensues, followed by an erratic, accelerated pulse and audible voices in my head even when the music on my player is at total volume. The voices repeatedly shout my name, they summon me, and I heed the call. Don't ask where and
this
why.
episode
Nears
no
its end,
preset answer.
I realize that it's all behind me, that there's no cause for alarm and panic. The world regains its hues, and I decide to light a cigarette. I do this in the manner of an old French prostitute who, exhausted from an extended 15-minute intercourse, decides to smoke nervously to, firstly, satisfy her habit of smoking post-coitus, because, you remember, one doesn't smoke after making love, and secondly, to mask the taste and odor of the sperm of yet another repulsive, corpulent man who paid extra to ejaculate in her mouth and smear it across her lips. Everything is senseless. Everything is senseless. Everything is senseless. Yes, I'll deviate a bit from my lament and share an intriguing story that an acquaintance told me, or rather, a prostitute. Yes, I remember, you've always disapproved of my circle, and rest assured, the feeling was mutual. My acquaintance, or rather, a prostitute, let's name her something refined and not primitive, say, Georgette, had a regular client who hired her exclusively once a week at midnight. No, this ritual had no mysticism. He finished his work at 11 o'clock and urgently drove beyond the city limits to meet Georgette. He didn't harbor any affection for her and likely didn't even remember her face or even knew it, for all encounters transpired in the dim light, in a car, an apartment, or a hotel room with insufficient lighting and air. How did he discern that Georgette was indeed her? They had their unique gesture, their own code of lovers. He was not young, reasonably overweight, and vulgar. She despised him, as she did all her clients, because the affair was disgusting, but she had grown accustomed to her job. This corpulent scoundrel always paid her generously to perform oral sex. After he climaxed, she would invariably down a couple of glasses of champagne and light a cigarette. If there was no champagne, vodka would suffice. She referred to this ritual as disinfection, for never in her career had she encountered semen more repugnant in taste and odor. He always left a substantial amount of money, tucking it into her underwear, which she was in no hurry to put on before smoking, even while standing on the balcony. She was unapologetically indifferent. Later, when he, in her words, fucked off, she would retrieve the money from her underwear and place it in her purse, a petite lady's bag, almost a clutch, that could barely hold a couple of condoms and this fat bastard's money. She was never in a hurry because he was her only client, and no one else would want her for the night. He left more than a decent amount of money, so she didn't have to worry about anything. This asshole was evidently her sole source of income. As fate would have it, she had to endure him. The years of her former glory were long past, and all her numerous regular clients, now balding, had either become impotent or had died. This one held on. One day, Georgette asked him why he always wanted to climax in her mouth and paid so much for it. He replied with the tone of a typical fat loudmouth, saying he enjoyed exploring and, at the same time, degrading the perfect anatomy of her female mouth and trachea, as if there were any significant differences between male and female mouths anatomically. Georgette, never one for intellect, didn't try to communicate in a cultured or slightly decent manner. With her voice rasped by thousands of cigarettes, she responded with a smirk and mockery, "What are you, a damn surgeon?" Without even looking at her, he hastily pulled on his underpants, into which the remnants of his semen would later drip, and hurried home to his beloved fucking wife. His beloved wife would most likely not smell his semen on her underpants because it would dry up as he drove home, tired, after the regular weekly shareholders' meeting. Such a cute and entertaining story, yes. So, yes. The nights were not always so terrible. I will never forget, fortunately or unfortunately, those we spent together. Our drunken nights. Nights of love. In love, you were reserved, though it was enough for me. You were always convinced that everything happening between us was abnormal. I'll allow myself the weakness to admit, partially, in some ways, you were right. But every fiber of my being screamed and still screams the opposite. I loved you in such nights as I had loved no one else, not the first nor any that followed. Now, I am tormented by nightmares of the past, choosing the victor in a battle, hebephrenia versus bipolar disorder. As you can see, so far, unsuccessfully. But I am confident I will cope with this, too. And I've even figured out how to do it in a way that compensates for the moral damage. It's a bit harsh, but my inner self, tired of constant torture, your cruelty, and sexual dissatisfaction, says that you deserve precisely this and that I will finally be happy. As I harbored this within me, white and black wrestled inside. The former, accustomed to submission and wishing well to all, tried to persuade me to forgive everything, as only this method would allow me to calm my heart and mind. The latter, however, screamed that revenge is what can save me from loneliness, as such a vendetta would ensure that we are together forever. Right now, I can't precisely say what I prefer, to forgive or to punish, but I am sure that as long as I am conceiving a plan of revenge and personal satisfaction, the option of forgiveness is essentially unreal. Oh, how long I fantasized that just a little time would pass since we parted, and I could hurt you as much as you hurt me. It doesn't sound very kind, but perhaps that's precisely why we were together for that brief period. We both love to torment others. You love to torment the soul, I, the body. This time, it's my turn. It means I will be the one to torment, and exclusively you. Don't thank me, freak. Yes. One day, when we finally meet after several months of our absence, I will say I came to say goodbye. You won't be surprised, but for the first time, you will genuinely hurt. Do you feel how it is? I will tell you that you trampled me, that you broke me, that you, the list, however, can continue indefinitely. I will tell you everything I wanted to say all these months. You will be surprised, and your eyes will become sad for the first time in all this while. Suddenly, you will want to cry, like in childhood, timidly and so as not to show tears. Yes, you were always a master at this, being both a man and a girl, and, yes, that's why I loved you, for you being a perfect, beautiful girl. At first, I will be flattered that you are sad. Still, in an instant, I will realize that you are crying and that you are wretched, not because I am saying goodbye but because you will realize that I have let you go and you can no longer keep me on a leash, like a slave, to torment and hurt whenever you want. Let it be so, but I am still glad that you are sad, and I am also pleased that you will not be able to predict what lies ahead for the first time. I will cope quickly, in 10 minutes. And so, we find ourselves seated in a restaurant. After ordering a beer each, we'll begin to cautiously talk about nothing, attempting to make some form of contact. You'll tell me everything that has happened to you during this time, and I will silently listen, feigning interest, engagement, and sadness. Then, when our beers arrive, you'll propose a banal and standard toast to our meeting. I'll decline, not even lifting my glass. And I'll begin to unload everything that has built up inside me. Stunned by my words, tone, mood, shouting, the sparks in my eyes, and all that, you'll start to theatrically sigh and try to shed a meager tear, a tear of that girl I so loved in you. In her, I'll believe. But no more. You'll try to apologize, to understand what happened and why I've come to this decision. I'll ignore your questions and you from the very start. I'll look through you and continue speaking. Then, abruptly standing up, expressing no regret, I'll take out money for the bill and throw it on the table. You'll run after me. I'll tell you to fuck off. Then again. And again. And, admit it, in this, I'll be logical and honest like no one else. You'll return to the table, I'll leave. When, after having a good drink and finally, breaking into tears, you realize what happened, you'll start calling me. Yes, I won't be sleeping. Call. You'll ask to come to me, and I, of course, will agree. Thus, you'll fall into my trap, though you thought I'd fall into yours. I'll give you the address of my country house, which you never knew about. I'll wait for you. Knowing your love for alcohol, I'll prepare booze in advance to make it easier and quicker for you to get drunk. When you arrive, I'll persistently pretend I'm unhappy to see you and don't have much time to listen to your words. You'll again propose a drink, which was, essentially, very predictable. You'll be all nervous, a bundle of emotions, but you'll clumsily hide it. We'll start talking. You'll again say that you were a fool, that you care, didn't want to lose me, and all that sort. I'll similarly pretend I believe, but it's already too late. We both know you're lying. Even if you're not, in any case, we are exercises in the surgical theater will be tied to a single motive, to rejoice that I can now live in this world without you. Yes, I forgot to mention that there is only one exhibit in my surgical theater, which will remain here for a couple more days, then it will need to be disposed of. So, in my surgical theater, there is only one exhibit, you. It's a pity my memory can't become an exhibit in the same museum. Looking at your dead body is strange, on the edge of reality and oblivion. Now, when this dead body finally belongs to me. Yes, these few days that I can look at you are worth the fact that I will never see you again. I have long, too long, tried to dream of how you will no longer be in this world and I will be able to breathe. When you left the city where we were happy, albeit briefly, I realized it's easier for me to live. But this feeling became deceptive, unfortunately. I realized that the essence is not in spatio-temporal connections and boundaries but in the fact that I still feel your presence. I can be calm, not happy, but calm, in this world only if you are not there. Love is a bunch of keys to our home that you first hold in your palm and then put in the pocket of your black torn jeans. Love is a cigarette you smoke, looking at me, and love is a lighter with which you light the cigarette. Love is a bunch of keys with which you try to slit your veins in front of me. And love is lighter with which you, no, not having finished smoking, set your shorts on fire, set yourself on fire, in front of my eyes. And I look at you. And I save you. And love is a window in a cozy kitchen, with so many magical dawns and beautiful sunsets. Love is a window that you almost jump out of, and I manage to hold you back. Love is a touch. Stronger. Even stronger. It becomes painful. Pain. Pain is a liquid. Love is a liquid. Pain and love are two liquids, blood, sweat, sperm. Sperm is love. Blood is love. Love is sperm. Sperm, sometimes children. Children, love. Love, keys, lighter, window. Sperm. There is no need to have children or increase the number of freaks who will also reproduce. Children are not needed, they will grow up to be the same freaks as us. How strange, at first, I saved you from suicide twice because I loved you, now I am waiting for your death, for the same reason. It's weird, but your funeral will be another show, precisely as you loved when you were alive and with me. Also, do you know who the saddest people are? Clowns. This is because their job is always to be cheerful. But do you know who the happiest people are? Pathologists. See, I've been walking around like a fool since this morning and thinking about the same thing.